The Banyan Tree Spirits. My name is Hien, born and raised in a small town in Quang Nam, Vietnam, now living in Da Nang. This story begins when I was 15, a time when I should have been worrying about school and friends. Instead, I was pulled into a world of restless spirits, where the veil between the living and the dead was thinner than I ever imagined. It started with my body betraying me. Every time my period came, my limbs would go numb, stiff as stone, like I was paralyzed. My hands and feet felt nothing, just a strange, aching pulse in my lower body. My family rushed me to the hospital, but the doctors were stumped. Temporary paralysis, 'cause unknown, they said, shaking their heads. After a few days, my hands would recover, but my legs stayed useless. Sometimes, I'd be stuck in the hospital for 20 days until the cycle passed, and I could walk again. But the next month, it'd happen all over again. For 2 years, I lived in dread of those days, trapped in a body that wouldn't obey me, a regular at the hospital, knowing every nurse and doctor by name. They put me in a bed by the window, for fresh air and sunlight. That bed changed everything. The first night, I overheard other patients whispering, "Don't sleep there. That bed's cursed." I was 15, naive, and laughed it off. "It's cool here, good for my bones," I said. That first night, I slept soundly, no dreams, no disturbances. But the second night, something woke me. I felt a hand shove my arm, hard, like it wanted me off the bed. I thought it was my mom, who was sleeping beside me, playing a prank. It happened again, harder. I ignored it, eyes shut tight. The third time, it was so forceful I snapped awake. Mom was snoring peacefully. But at the foot of my bed stood a man. He was in his 30s, dressed in a tattered, old military uniform, his face grim and weathered. "Get out," he growled. "This is my spot." I blinked, unafraid, thinking he was just some confused patient. "Mister, this is my bed. Me and my mom are sleeping here. Go away." I shot back. He didn't leave. Night after night, he returned, standing by my bed, repeating, "Get out. You're on my grave." His words chilled me, but I didn't believe in ghosts, not yet. He told me his story, a soldier who died of malaria right where the hospital now stood, his body buried beneath the foundation, unclaimed by family. I started to pity him, this lost soul stuck in limbo. We talked, or rather, he talked, and I listened, night after night, until he felt less like a ghost and more like a sad uncle. Then came the night that broke me. I wheeled myself to the hospital's courtyard to escape the stuffy ward. In front of me loomed a massive banyan tree, its branches heavy with incense sticks left by pregnant women praying for safe deliveries. The air was thick with smoke, and as it stung my eyes, I rubbed them. When I looked up, I froze. The tree was alive with spirits. Hundreds of infant souls clung to its branches, some red and raw, others just clumps of blood, some missing limbs, all crying in a haunting, bone-chilling wail. Not the cries of healthy newborns, but screams of pain and abandonment. I shouted, "Who are you? Where are your parents?" A chorus of tiny voices answered, overlapping in despair, "No one takes us home. Our parents left us." My mom called me back to the ward, but the image burned into my mind. That night, I spiked a fever so high they rushed me to a bigger hospital in Da Nang. In my delirium, I saw myself sitting at the foot of my bed, watching my own body, hooked to tubes and monitors. My parents were frantic, doctors swarmed. Then, 2 shadowy figures appeared, gray, almost translucent, their faces blurred. "Come play with us," they whispered, grabbing my hands with icy fingers. "Give us money." I screamed, "No. My parents are here. I'm not going." They kept begging, their voices hollow, until I woke up, drenched in sweat. I told everyone about the figures, but no one saw them. They thought I was crazy. Desperate, I collected loose change from my parents and visitors, amassing nearly $500. I begged a doctor to use it for offerings, to appease the two spirits who'd given me their names and hometowns. The hospital records confirmed it. 2 patients had died there years ago, matching their descriptions. A terrified doctor arranged a ritual to guide their souls home. I was discharged, but the spirits weren't done with me. Back home, my family called in a shaman. He slapped a talisman on my forehead, chanting that I was possessed. I ripped it off, yelling, "The ghosts are behind you." There they were, dozens of infant spirits, just like the ones on the banyan tree, bloodied and broken, giggling at me. The shaman paled, packed his things, and fled, his pants suspiciously wet. My parents thought I'd lost my mind. Then the possessions began. Every night, I'd lose control. I'd cry, scream, "Mommy, Daddy," like a child, thrashing on the bed. By morning, I remembered nothing. My family whispered that maybe my grandfather's lost children, babies abandoned during the war, were haunting me. The strangest part? When possessed, I could walk, but when I was myself, my legs failed me again. For months, I was trapped in this cycle, lucid and paralyzed, or possessed and mobile. My uncle and aunt took me to a temple, where a monk was known for dealing with restless spirits. As we waited, I slipped into a trance, running through the temple, laughing, chanting, the monk's coming on his brown motorcycle. Sure enough, 10 minutes later, a thin monk rolled up on a brown bike. He sat me down, face to face, and spoke to the spirit inside me. "You're hurting this girl," he said. "Let her go." The spirit spoke through me, and what it said shattered my family. It was the soul of a child, abandoned by my cousin Hugh and his wife when they were students in Hanoi. "You left me in a white bag, then a pink one," it cried. "You threw me in a park. I was alone, crying for milk, beaten by other spirits on the banyan tree." Hugh and his wife sobbed, confessing they'd aborted a child years ago, wrapping it in those exact bags and leaving it in a park. My uncle had retrieved the remains, burying them properly, but the soul lingered. The monk urged the spirit to move on, but it refused. "She has more trials to face. I'll stay." It lived in me until I turned 16, when, inexplicably, my paralysis stopped, and the possession ceased. For years later, I married a kind nurse who'd cared for me in the hospital. In 2016, we had our first son. From the moment he was born, he mirrored the spirit's behaviors, small, specific gestures I'd made when possessed. And on his forehead, a faint birthmark, just as the spirit had promised, "I'll be reborn as your child." I believe that spirit became my son, given a new life, free from pain. But I can't forget the banyan tree, heavy with abandoned souls, crying for parents who never came. While mothers prayed for their babies' safety, those lost ones hung in the branches, unseen, unforgiven. This is my story, a warning to cherish life, because every careless choice can leave a spirit wandering, forever lost in the shadows.